We're going to lose people if we don't start. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And if you're watching this later on YouTube or Facebook or some other place, we're so glad that you join us. I'm Luke. This is my wife, Kristen.
Hi.
Or I'm her husband, Luke. Whatever way that you fancy. And we're a couple of weeks... We're a couple of weeks into this weird quarantine moment, and we just wanted to pop on here for a few minutes to try to give some just thoughts on marriage, because by God's grace, I'll just tell you the flat truth, we're like really doing great.
We had a rocky week a couple weeks ago, but this week is better.
Post-resurrection, we just wanted to try to give some resources. And so here's 5 things that might help you in this married moment. Yes, I did cough. I do not have the coronavirus.
Arrested, even though it sounds like cops are outside our door.
Here's 5 things that might help you in this moment that we're in right now, just to help you along in your marriage. Because this thought has been just capturing me, is that people out there in the world are worried about being exposed to the coronavirus. But what's happening to most of us is that we're being exposed by the coronavirus. If you have any crack anywhere in your life, in your finances, in your career, in your marriage, in your in your parenting, wherever there's a crack, pressure gathers around it and starts to spurt out. So here's 5 things. They're all things that we can choose right here in this moment. 1, choose. Oh my gosh, Wesley, you need this more than anybody. You're going to be married soon to a person who's way better than you. Choose space. Choose space. That's the first one. What do we mean by that?
Well, I think that you said it really good yesterday when
Thank you. Tell me more.
Usually in marriage, you have to make time to spend with your spouse, whether it's you have a busy career or you have kids or a combination of those or family or whatever. And now it's like we have more time than we could ever dream to have together. So that's wonderful. But by week, what is it, 4?
80?
5? I don't know. It's like, okay, we got to make sure that we have space to do our own thing, not just always family time or always us time or whatever. And I think go ahead.
Yeah, so making sure that you have time to work out, one person or the other does, or making sure that mom can run and get her groceries without being bothered, or making sure that there's just a little space to take a walk or read a book, or just a little. It's especially true, obviously, if you have little kids. Just making a little bit of space for the other person to live their life. One of the things you learn along the way in marriage is that if you're not happy and whole yourself, you can't look to the other person to fill your cup. And so some people are coming, all of a sudden, the illusion is falling away that if we just had all the time in the world together, things would be fine. So choose to give each other space, whatever that looks like, in a way that's healthy.
I think I'm just going to be really vulnerable here. A couple weeks ago, one of the first weeks of the quarantine, I was really frustrated. And then I was resting upstairs to have some me time, and I took an inventory of the last time Luke had been alone, and because he had been giving me time, but I hadn't been giving him time, and I was like,
is this a story that's a positive about me?
No wonder he's frustrated and ticked because he hasn't been on his own. So just honest here, I think that was really insightful for me, because I feel like he had been making space for me, because that's usually typical to our relationship, is he has to make space for me. He's good at
making space for myself. Yeah, okay.
He's good at making. He's good at waking up.
That was
early.
Brilliant. Did you see the way she just wrapped a compliment inside of a dish? Yeah.
He's good at waking up early or finding time to get a coffee or say he needs a coffee. I'm not good at that. He knows that about me and whatever. So anyway, I think that
lean into the screen a bit. You're good at being beautiful.
Thanks, babe.
Okay. Did you notice how I said to lean in and you literally just went that way out of the thing? Okay. Second thing, choose to have fun. This is it sounds so obvious, but we're never going to be here right here again. And so do some stuff that is some fun. Like, I saw my friend, Kyle and Lauren, some friends of mine, I saw they're a married couple with no children. They built a fort, and we're watching a movie underneath it.
Oh, that's awesome.
You would never, ever, 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 ever choose to do that unless you had all this time. choose to make some memories out of the stuff you have. The other night, we had a power outage in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was like right away, Kristen jumped up and she lit all the candles, and we got all the blankets, and we made a whole little like fort and everything. And all of a sudden, we were having this fun moment that everybody remembers. And then by the time we got it all set up, the power came on, and we just kept doing it anyway.
And the kids thought it was the best the next day.
One thing that Kristen is really good at doing is laughing disaster away, which I really appreciate that about her. She, like, in a moment where things are falling apart, she always has this way of making it into a fun something.
Yeah, I think Luke is super creative and has always used that in his work. And I feel like he's been really good at thinking of creative things, whether that's, I don't know, last week he made an LA quarantine bingo for the kids.
I did.
And drove them around while I went and got groceries. And I don't know, it blessed my heart. He's using his creativity to make space for me again.
Because I'm really good at making space for myself is the message of this thing.
No, but he just use your creativity to bless your family, bless your spouse, all of that, which would segue really good into number 3.
3 is, so we've said choose space, choose fun. 3, choose romance. And this is like the funny thing is you can be with someone all the time and not actually be like engaged with them. You can be around someone but not connect. And so the last couple of weeks, we pick one night a week where we order takeout, we put a movie on upstairs in our room, we watch the movie, the kids are like quarantined on the bottom floor away from us and told to stay away, and we spend time together and... What?
I don't know.
I felt like you were taking it a direction I wasn't sure you were willing to go. We spend time together.
Yeah.
In all the ways that a couple should spend time together. And by putting like that one night, this is the night where we're going to connect together.
Yeah.
It gives us more enthusiasm and excitement for being with the kids. Especially if you have, like, again, little kids at home, or if you have teenagers at home that are all over the place. You got to just like say, every night is the same. Okay, but like tonight we're not just going to kind of half watch some dumb show and like be on our phones. Tonight we're going to try to talk and just enjoy being together. So choose some romance, date night, like try to have some non-serious moment connection.
Yeah, we've been taking walks around our neighborhood. Carter gets like to babysit. That's really handy. If you have little kids, you can put them down early and even just sit on the back porch or sit, I don't know, where you can sit. Maybe a different room than you typically would or whatever, just to make it, I don't know, take a fun spin on I don't know, being together.
There's no way that like a little kissing is going to make your marriage worse, is all I'm saying.
Well, and there's like, honestly, right now, I feel like we said this the other day, I don't remember what it was about, but like there's nothing sacred about right now. Everything's just like a free-for-all. Like with the kids, they're always around, everything. So anyway, I just feel like it's to be intentional with that is super important.
Number 4, choose to make faith an important thing in your life in this moment. In the same way, because there's church services on all the time, and whatever church you're part of, there's like, churches are doing umpteen million things, and you can half participate in all of it, and like, listen to like that one blessing song that's like 80 minutes long as many times as you want, and not actually engage spiritually in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
And so Kristen's been doing an awesome job of like, if we're going to have our few minutes of spiritual time in the morning, or if I'm going to have my time, or like when we're watching the church service, we're not like goofing around on our phones or playing with toys or whatever. Like the moments that are faith moments, we're going to lean in the same way that we wouldn't goof around in church. We're going to make sure that we pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, it's been, I have to be disciplined at not being on my phone right when I wake up. Like if I did that for like a week and then I was on the news or somebody from our family out of town was texting us and they're already well into their day. But just making a discipline to put my phone to the side. I mean, I feel like that's been said so many times, so many places, and really like centering myself for the day. Otherwise it just gets yucky fast. And I think that like in this time when you're so much with the other person, like Luke doesn't have to tell me he's having a hard day. Like I just kind of obviously pick that up.
I'm like,
Or if I'm struggling, I feel like I was just talking to somebody today about how, because that's so obvious, it's just, instead of like being like, wow, you're really struggling today, just trying to be really prayerful for that person without having to have a conversation or force them into what they're upset about. Like, this is hard.
Yeah.
And so just, I feel like,
That's part of our last one too.
yeah, pray rather than criticize, which is easier said than done, let's face it.
I think that we have a great opportunity. If I was to look back on the most meaningful times of my life, of my parents or people that have instructed me in spiritual things, the stuff that's happening right around us is often where the lessons are learned the best. If you study Jesus' ministry carefully, which, decent thing to do, Jesus had such a pattern of bringing the lesson that he wanted to teach out of the thing that's happening right now. So I've been working really hard on like teaching the kids, like, we don't know when, for the kids, all our kids care about. They could care less about the U.S. economy. They could care less about school. They could care less about anything other than what do they care about? When are sports coming back? It's the only thing they care about.
They want to see their friends again.
Or maybe they care when do their sports start again and when does the NBA
Yeah.
and all this. And I've been saying over and over, this is just a little spiritual thing, saying, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
But God knows, and it's not going to profit us at all to like worry about it. We'll know when we know. Mm-hmm. Such a small thing in the scale of the things that are going on in the world. But finding ways with the people around you, you can even do this to the person you're married to the people around you in your life, whoever you're living with, whoever you're talking to on your Zoom calls, whatever. Just, by the way, if you're doing Zoom, just remember to unmute yourself before you stop talking. Just like that thing. So make it a point to make good use of those moments is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Try to like take the spiritual stuff out of what's happening around us. Right now, we've never had a better opportunity to say, I don't know, but I trust. Mm-hmm. I can't see, but I trust. I can't predict, but I trust. And so the people around us should be seeing us living that out in the faith, in our faith. Last thing, we're choosing space, fun, romance, faith, and then the last thing we're choosing is compassion. And what I mean by choosing compassion is, this is a marriage little talk, so figure out why this season, this moment, is hard for the person you're married to. And have compassion. Don't compare or frustrate or try to like prove to them, to like try to prove to the person you're with why what you're dealing with is harder or why they shouldn't be bothered. Just choose to have compassion. So what's hard for a stay-at-home mom in a small place with 4 kids at home? What's hard? Her work never ends. The place inside, we're in our little back patio right now, it'll be destroyed in there by the time we go in. It's another thing she has to clean, another meal she has to make, another thing. And I'll just be just straightforward. I would say that at best, on my best day, I'm like a neutral in the cleanliness. At my best day, I make things as good as if I wasn't here. So what we're saying is, understand that that's hard. Her work never stops. Okay, but what's hard for a working person? What's hard for me in this situation?
The internet.
We have bad internet.
You don't have space to make your, like, you're always trying to make your calls in and around helping the family, or you're not in your normal workspace. You're not able to do your normal meetings, your normal stuff. So it's just completely, it's completely different, turned upside down.
It was good. That was very compassionate, the way that you said that.
Well, I feel like it's the age-old saying, right? Like, I don't know what it's like to walk in his shoes, and he doesn't know what it's like to walk in my shoes. So the best thing in that, then, is to have compassion. And that's hard sometimes, to have compassion. But I think that in this season, we're all feeling the tension. Like,
yeah.
You know, I think of, like, only, like, moms who are, you know, home with all these kids and doing school and all the rest, and then there's could be another person in a season where they're older and they're lonely and they're like, I wish I had kids in my house. So
I'm workshopping this idea of like renting out our kids to go over to lonely people's houses in like hazmat suits just for like a day at a time. Like, they give us a few bucks, we'll tithe on it and everything, but then it feels like it could like,
no, I love them.
So I think that when it comes to compassion for each other, it's this idea: non-judgmental listening.
Yeah.
Which means you say to the other person, tell me how this feels.
Yeah.
Tell me what this is like. Just so that you can say it.
Acknowledge
and all I'm going to do is just receive it.
Yeah.
Without passing a judgment on it.
Yeah, acknowledge and then affirm you. And
often the male temperament has this desire to fix. Well, here's the great news about this little moment. Nothing we can do to fix it. Nothing we can do to fix it. If you're one of those people that's out of work, or your spouse is out of work because of this thing, one, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that. It's absolutely terrible. I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. But number two, like, just being able to say it feels really unfair.
Yeah.
And not have the other person say, well, here's 20 websites and 7,000 jobs that I found for you. Maybe you can go back to college, whatever. That our temptation, and Christians, to be candid, are worse at this than the average. Our need to always sort of fix what people are saying or try to make what people are saying right instead of just listening often hinders our ability to love them well. And so with this person that you're married to, you are serving them. You are achieving oneness, God's design for marriage more, when you're just letting them express to you how they're feeling. Even, even if you don't like exactly agree that what they're saying is perfect or proper.
Yeah. Well, they need a place. And right now there are a ton of places where you can just talk because everybody's feeling it. So I think that's really helpful. Let's be that for each other.
Number 6 is you should watch Tiger King with your spouse, even if you think it's ridiculous. That one is for you.
We haven't done that. You did that. But
Yeah,
I
and-
haven't.
Somehow I'm feeling like... thanks for joining us. This was very fun. So maybe we'll do this again sometime. But there's 5 things, and wherever you're watching this, leave a comment, say hello, yada, 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 and turn the news off. Lance, I love you. All right, see you guys.